My name is Brett Walker. I'm a fourth semester student here at the Monterey Institute. I'm studying international policy studies and getting a certificate in non-proliferation studies. My language of focus here is Arabic. I did an undergrad in linguistics. I came to Monterey about a year after I graduated with my undergrad, decided to pursue policy as opposed to linguistics, and it's been a fun time ever since. So my IPSS assignment was in Vienna, Austria, the International Atomic Energy Agency. It was a 6-month appointment. The position at the IAEA is one of the longer standing internships, IPSS fellowships that the Monterey Institute has. I think it's been around for about 8 or 9 years. So by the time I showed up, they kind of knew what to expect from me as a Monterey Institute student. They knew what my capabilities generally were going to be. They already had an idea of what they wanted me to do. So it was a pretty smooth transition in my case, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed working in an international organization, learning the ins and outs and the ups and downs of that, and it definitely applied directly to the subject matter that I'm interested in. If a person studying non-proliferation can get an internship at the IAEA, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's a good place to get some experience. I worked in the Division of Public Information, immediately under the Director of Public Information. And basically what we did was we were the first line of communication for the International Atomic Energy Agency. Anytime the media would call and have a question about a report that we put out or administrative things, even country issues that are member states of the IAEA, we were always the ones that would field those questions first. If we couldn't answer them, we would route the questions to experts in-house. We would set up interviews with experts of various subject matter expertise. What I did personally was I provided a lot of sort of non-proliferation analysis on the reports that were put out by the IAEA, specifically on countries like Iran, Syria. Did a lot of work in the Middle East, in Middle Eastern countries, as well as the North Korean issue. And basically it's clarifying to the public what the issues really are, explaining the IAEA's role in these things, the IAEA's non-proliferation role, what their mandate is. And these are all things that are important for observers to understand, to get the context right and what the IAEA's responsibilities are. So I helped to do that, and my analyses were circulated obviously through all of public information, oftentimes up to deputy directors general. My typical day, well, there's always emails that you have to answer, and that's the way it always started. I'd start with the emails. You know, being in Vienna, you're 9 hours behind Asia, and you're 9 hours ahead of the west coast of the United States. So people are emailing basically 24 hours that are needing assistance. So, you know, first thing in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, we had to respond and do our best to wake up and perform. I would respond to emails having to do with the things I just described about IAEA mandate and things like that. We would have meetings where we would do media strategies, how we were going to formulate media campaigns, how we were going to explain to the public choices the IAEA had made. I happened to be at the IAEA at an interesting time when they were electing a new director general. The director general, who's been there, had been there for a number of years, and he was outgoing. So I was able to be involved and observe this process of a new director general, the board meetings that happen. I got to sit in actually on the closed board meetings, take notes on them, analyze them, disseminate my analysis to people in the house. And so my experience was a lot of fun, really unique in that sense. A lot of writing, a lot of taking notes, but a lot of listening to high-level ambassadors speak in meetings and things like that. So it was a gush of experience, and every day was different, and that added to kind of the excitement of working there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the most inspiring thing was being able to observe current nonproliferation professionals, not just to see them and watch them, what they were doing, but to be able to actually engage with them. The Monterey Institute is well known as an institution that produces scholarly work, very good scholarly work on nonproliferation issues. So there was already that mantle with me. They already had an idea of who I was, where I came from. So not only to be able to watch these people in their board meetings, watch them give statements, watch them negotiate, watch them do these things, but then to actually be able to talk with them, sit down with them, interact and learn. And that was something that really helped me to formulate where I want to go in my career in the nonproliferation field, what I'm interested in, what is even available to be done, what kind of positions exist for people to do in this field. So it was a real eye-opening experience, and I noticed that if you have the drive and if you have the proper education in the issues, you can really take the nonproliferation angle in a lot of different directions. It did give me a solid vision of the usefulness of international organizations, the credibility that they provide, the necessity of their missions, especially the IAEA in the role of nonproliferation, being accepted as kind of the world authority on things nuclear, and that's an important thing to have. Now, whether I would go back to work at the International Atomic Energy Agency, I'm not sure. I'd like to have a different experience and work, maybe with a government administration or something like that. But you're going to run into the bureaucracies. Those are common, I guess, in the UN. All my colleagues that have worked in various UN organizations have told me the same thing. But it's also a really rewarding experience. It's very international, it's mission driven, and it has to be. When you have people from all different cultures and backgrounds who have different lenses through which they see the world, it's important to have a mission and a goal, and that's something that does exist there. And it was very, very fun and interesting to observe. All employers, hopefully that you're doing all this to get a job, all employers are going to hope that you have not just your degree but some experience. And so that's the first thing. The other thing is, if you're interested in actually enacting change, you need to learn how to work within a system, whether it's a system at the international scale, like in the UN, or if it's within a certain government. And the only way you can get experience by doing that is just by doing it. So if you want experience and the academic education part of it by the time you graduate, then this is exactly what you want to do. For example, I've done an internship and IPSS, so in 2 years I've got a master's degree and 9 months of work experience. So if that's something that interests you, then the IPSS is what you need to do. That's a good question. There's so many opportunities in nonproliferation, and I'm exploring them all. Like I said, I would really like to have the opportunity to work with my with the U.S. government, or I'm also looking at going back to the IAEA possibly. And these are all things that are very much feasible at this point, being equipped with my degree and with my professional experience and my language experience that I have. So it's something that I'm going to need to decide soon. It's a good problem to have, but there's a lot of opportunities there for me, and they wouldn't be there otherwise if I hadn't done this program.